Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is our Career Readiness Workshop, Part 2. My name is Willie Hardy, Director of Student Support Services. With us, we have Ms. LaQuana Sledge, Student Development Advisor, Ms. Laura Zollicoffer, Student Development Advisor, and you will see her as Ms. Cooper on your screen, but she is now Mrs. Porch, who is our retention specialist, retention and data specialist. And we just want to welcome you all in. Thank you all for coming. We've had part 1 of this, I think a week and a half ago or something like that. And it went very well. Today, Ms. Sledge and Ms. Zollicoffer and Ms. Porch will be facilitating this session. I'm just here to give the greeting, and if any resources needed, they're welcome to contact me, whether it's the staff or participants. So thank you all again. With that being said, I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Sledge.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Again, my name is LaQuana Sledge, and I serve as a student development advisor with TRIO Student Support Services. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for showing up today for part 2 of our career readiness workshop. And today's focus, we're gonna focus on different job search strategies. During our last session, a week and a half ago, we focused on career do's and don'ts when we talked about professional dress, attire, developing a strong online presence with professional platforms like LinkedIn, Handshake, and Indeed. And we also talked about having strong communication skills within the workplace. Can everybody make sure they go on mute, please? So it won't be feedback. All right. So during today's workshop for today, we're going to focus on understanding your goals as you're doing your job search, building your personal brand, developing strong network strategies, development and resume and cover letter tips, and different online job search techniques and interview preparation. Can everybody see my slide?
Yes.
All right. Let me move this out of the way. All right. So understanding your goals is a very critical first step when shaping your career and developing a successful career. It involves thorough self-assessment to determine and discern your overall strengths, weaknesses, and skills and passions. By identifying your strengths, you can capitalize on areas of excellence and find career paths that align with your natural abilities. By recognizing your weaknesses, it is also equally important, and it also allows you to address areas where you need to improve or seek support. Your skills form the foundation of your professional toolkit, and it's essential to know what you excel at, where you can further develop. Additionally, uncovering your passions will help you connect with your work and what truly motivates you and fulfills you. By going into these 4 different aspects, you can set clear, clear, achievable career goals that resonate with your unique and specific qualities, and helping you go down a path that aligns with your passions, while also addressing your weaknesses. So, Missy, do you want to add anything before I go? Okay.
Well, the only thing that I would like to say is most people don't pay attention to their weaknesses as well as much as they pay attention to their strengths. So your weaknesses are important because one, you can either develop those weaknesses to the point where it becomes a strength, or you can understand that that weakness will help you make sure that you don't get a job in a field that doesn't align with your goals. So I always ask students to think about the types of jobs they would never do. For instance, if someone offered you $1 million, what job is it that you absolutely will not do? That's really, really important, because it will help you shape your ideas on jobs to not do, as well as jobs that you can do.
That's it. Okay. Thank you, Missy, for adding. So with understanding your goals, I actually, as I was doing this presentation and as I was looking into how knowing your strengths, weaknesses, and skills and passions can help you like during your job search or develop different job search strategies, I took a personal look within myself and kind of put my a personal strength, weakness, a skill, and a passion that I feel like I have after doing like a self-assessment. So for example, one of my strengths is problem solving and quickly identifying and resolving complex challenges. One of my passions that I have is a deep desire to connect with and help local communities through volunteering and engagement. And one of the skills that I'm currently working on right now is like digital marketing, and like dealing with online advertisement and social media campaigns. And not one of my weaknesses, an area of growth or weakness that I feel like I should try to work on, or I continue to work on, is public speaking, with feeling nervous or less confident when speaking in front of large groups. Anything you want to add, Missy, before I go?
Sure. So when you're thinking about your strengths, your skills, your weaknesses, and your passion, jot down a couple of things that you know you're strong at. Jot down a thing that you're weak at that you might want to focus on building up. Jot down some of the skills that you have. What are your passions? What is it that you love doing that no one will have to pay you to do because you love it?
All right. So the next step, and we covered this during the part 1 session of this workshop series, but building your personal brand. We all know that social media and the internet is everywhere. Everyone uses it for personal business. It's an app for everything. So developing your personal brand and having that strong online presence, specifically when it comes to like getting out there in the job market or looking for different jobs, you have to be able to make yourself stand out and have an accurate presentation of who you are online, as far as like developing and growing in your career. So the importance of strong online presence in today's job market, having a strong online presence is paramount. And well-crafted professional online profiles, such as LinkedIn, can greatly enhance your job search. It also allows you to enhance your skills, enhance and showcase your skills, experience, and accomplishments, making you more visible to potential employers and recruiters. Additionally, maintaining an active and engaging online presence through sharing industry insights and participating in relevant online communities and can help you demonstrate your expertise or passion in your field and further increase your chances of being noticed by prospective employers. So with developing that strong presence online, I have within the personally within the last 6 or 7 months trying to be involved in certain professional groups and stuff on different platforms to see what other people are doing in my career field, whether it be within TRIO or those that work with other students, and see some of the strategies that they're using with their programs and their institutions to build off of different ideas. And also I do this because it helps you see what the areas that you need to work on specifically, especially if you want to like advance in your career, like knowing what is current, what is some of the issues going on in your different career fields, and seeing if you need to pivot or make adjustments to how you're currently doing things in your career, or like building your skill set if you need to go back to school and things of that sort. So these are 6 key points that I always keep in mind when interacting with people online, in professional communities, even when I go to different workshops and conferences. First thing, define your unique value proposition, which means you should define like how do you want to be presented within your professional space and in your career. Showcase your expertise. Always show what you know, even if you're not too sure about it. Third thing, and I think is one of the most important things, is building a network of people that are doing the same thing you're doing, something that you find interesting, or they're currently in a position that you see yourself in or could potentially be in, to build a network of mentors or even mentees, or you could like help someone else along the way. Staying consistency is key. Tell your story, be honest and upfront, and seek feedback, and always remain adaptable and flexible. Anything you want to add? Okay, sure. Ms. Cooper, is anything you want to add to this?
No, I think you nailed it.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure everybody's voice is heard. Mr. Hardy, is anything you want to add? Because I don't want to be, talk a hole in people's heads, but
You're doing a great job, Miss Sledge. I'm just sitting back listening. Trust me, I'll jump in. You know I will.
okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
All right. Networking strategies. So with networking on social media and all the 1 in 1,000 apps that are out there, the key to it is having a strategy, not a strategy that you see someone else doing, but what networking strategy is going to work for me and my specific career goals and where I want to go. Like you have to, it's like being very specific, knowing what you want, knowing the jobs that you're looking for, the pay that you want, that kind of thing, and drilling in that way, so you won't be filling out 1,001 applications and it's not really anything you want to pursue or choose as a career. So being very specific, as far as your networking and how you choose to navigate on these different online platforms. So, all right, so let's define what networking actually is. So networking is the practice of building and nurturing relationships with individuals and groups within a specific professional or social context. It involves connecting with others to exchange information, support, and opportunities, often with the goal of advancing one's career, business, or personal development. Networking can be placed through various means, including in-person interactions, social events, online platforms. This is what we're primarily talking about today, is like having that presence online, doing your job search or developing your job search strategy, and professional organization. And it plays a crucial role in expanding one's social and professional connections for mutual benefit. This is a long, in-depth definition for networking, which means, in layman's terms, just connecting with those that you feel like could be a service or benefit to you, going in a certain direction in your career. Missy, anything you want to add about networking strategies and how to do that thing?
About,
I'll add something.
okay, go ahead, Ms. Porch.
Also, take in consideration that networking can start in your classroom with just a group project. You can harp on those skills when it comes to where they delegate certain tasks to different individuals, and y'all all have to come together to complete a task. You start to actually interact with different people. You start to probably learn different skills from others. You actually increase your interpersonal skills. And then going off of the slide even more, going to different events, social events, you're broadening your horizons to learn new people that can actually help you move forward in life to other steps in your career, or even change the trajectory of your career because they saw something else inside of you. So it's very important to know that networking in the line of business goes hand in hand.
Okay, Ms. Z doesn't have anything to say,
No,
which
she went right where I was going. Thank you.
and I'll wrap up this piece just by simply saying, it's not once you know how good you look on paper, how you look online. It's basically who's in your network and who you know. It's not what you know, but who you know, like 85% of the time. All right, and we're moving on. All right, so resumes and cover letters. So can somebody tell me the difference between a resume and a cover letter? You can drop it in the chat, come off of mute. Tell me the difference between a cover letter and a resume. Nobody? Let me check the chat. All right. So, Ms. Z, do you want to see if you can provide a definition of a resume versus a cover letter?
Okay, a resume shows basically it's and a step-by-step series of accomplishments that you've done. So it could be either in the job market or either at school, or you can combine with both of them. It highlights your skills and where you got those skills, this, that, and the other. A cover letter, talks about how those skills that you've acquired will connect to the job that you're looking for. So say I have skills as a teacher. So when you start thinking about skills of a teacher, I'm a good listener, this, that, and the other. But if I'm going for a job that doesn't require my teaching skills, how will I connect my teaching skills to that job? Well, there are a whole array of skills that a teacher is required to have, which can transform or transpose or translate into other jobs.
All right, Missy, that was a great and thorough explanation of a resume and cover letter. So in my, job searches that I have had in the past, these 4 tips are some that I've been given as I let, people proofread and look at my resume and cover letter. First step, tailor your content, customize your resume and cover letter to match the specific job and company that you're applying to, and highlight those relevant skills and experiences. I say this because a lot of companies and jobs of that sort, they get probably, hundreds and hundreds of applications a day, and they have people sifting through them. In some companies or jobs or whatever, they use a database and system to sift out those applications that they know don't meet the skills, relevant skills that they're looking for to fulfill a job. So that's why it's always good to customize the resume towards the job that you're looking for, so your resume won't get lost in the flood of the ones that they're not probably going to look at too much. Also, keep it concise. Keep both your resume and cover letter concise, ideally to 1 page for a resume or 3 to 4 paragraphs for a cover letter, focusing on the most relevant information. So in essence, when it comes to these resumes and cover letters, it's always important to keep it concise, highlight those relevant skills and information and experiences geared towards those jobs, so you can so they can be highlighted, so you can get chosen for the first initial interview and not get lost in the sea of other resumes. Use action verbs. Employ strong action verbs to describe your achievements and responsibilities, making your contributions more impactful and engaging. So with the word, with action verbs, I call those buzzwords, or words that these specific jobs and places of employment want to see and hear, so that you can stand out a little bit more. And so you won't get lost in the sea of resumes that they get daily. So you use those key words and action verbs that they look for, so they kind of make them look twice at your cover letter and resume. Last and
I'm sorry. I was just gonna add something real quick based on basically that's tied to what you were just talking about, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Okay, so you're exactly right about the action verbs and the buzzwords, and I just want to take it one step further. Some companies actually use a software that screens out based on the terminology, the terms, and you want to always tie your you always want to tie your work history back to the job description, and you want to use the language that's in the job description. Now, I'm not telling you to lie about your experience, but you want to term it in a way, just like Ms. Liz was just saying, that's similar or the same as the job description, okay? And you do that because, like I said, nowadays, like Ms. Sledge just shared with you, they're looking for these terms, but they also sometimes, depending on the size of the corporation, may even have, and now we know we have AI in the mix, okay? They have software that will actually pre-screen, depending on how many applications that are coming in to that particular position, to that particular company, pre-screen. And if you don't have those same terms that are, in that job description, then you won't get past you won't make it to the first interview, okay? So that's just my little 2 cents. Thank you, Ms. Sledge.
Mr. Hardy, you're exactly right, because I was about to get into that, because a lot of these larger companies, like you said, they don't have people doing the initial screening. They use database like systems
Right.
that they've created to pick out those words that they're looking for based off the job description. And also too, just to piggyback off of some things that you said, in the past, when I've applied for jobs, I always go to the job description, thoroughly read it, and basically tailoring my resume, like you said, and cover letter to the things that are in that job description, because that's why the job description is important. The job description is not just for you to decide, oh, I want to apply for this job. It's what they use to weed out the ones they know aren't qualified or have those relevant skills or experiences tailored for that specific job that they're looking for. Missy, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was only gonna piggyback and say basically the same exact thing. How you make your resume and your cover letter strong, very strong, is to make sure that when you're looking at the job requirements and the skills, that you make sure that you are using the language that they use, because they're definitely looking. They don't want to know you know how to cook 50 hamburgers in 2 minutes. And that's not what the job entails. They want to know what it is that they're asking for that you can do, and that you have proof that you can do, given the skills that you require. So make sure that strong cover letter and that strong resume comes out even more when you're focused on the skills and the requirements that they're looking for. All the other things you can like leave off if it doesn't coordinate with the skills that they're looking for, because then in their mind that's just fluff.
That is correct.
Can
Also,
can I also jump in?
Sure.
go ahead.
It's also important to have multiple resumes and cover letters. And even though I agree with every single one, I also wanted to throw in there that some jobs, because you can come with so many skills, but half the time you'll get a degree and you will not be working in the field that you actually got a degree in. But some jobs tailor their job description and they'll weed you out. Like, for example, if they say you need to have a certain certification, even though that you might qualify for this job, you have a degree in it, you may not have had that certain certification. Now you need to go out there and get it. So I say have multiple resumes, have multiple cover letters, and like they said, tailor it to what the job is asking for, so you can get pulled through, but also, gather up more skills than just the ones that you have. Don't actually be, don't feel like you can only do one thing. Have more than one resume, have more than one cover letter, because it's going to be so many opportunities out there for you, because a lot of majors that y'all are in are very broad, and it comes under a whole lot of umbrellas that you can go in towards.
I thought I had something to say, but it came back. So also with the job search, and not only tailoring your resume and using those buzzwords and keeping it concise and making sure you proofread and get that kind of thing done. Also too, depending on like the career field that you're in, go to the company's website, look at the language that they use on the website, look at the language that they use in their mission statement and vision statement for the company or the school or whatever. So you can put some of those buzzwords in there. So like, they feel like you're aligned with the mission and the values of the company too. All right.
Also, just to add to that and piggyback off that again, it's really, really important for you to do your research on a company. The researching a company and what their statement, their values are, their missions are, will also help you, in your cover letter, because you can have some of the things that they mention in their mission statement and their values. And they'll know that once they read your cover letter, oh, this person has already researched us. And so that's another feather in your hat. When they know that you know about what they are and what they do.
Yes, that's real important. Ms. D, you know, it's actually real hard to hear you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if when you speak, I don't know if it's a microphone in there. You might want to get close because it sounds like you're so far away.
I probably was. Is this better?
I mean, like the kinda, but I can hear Miss Sledge clearly. It's so hard to hear you, even and I have my volume turned all the way up. So I don't know how it is for other participants, but it's really hard to hear you.
Can you sit? You should-
Okay. Can you
That
hear me
sounds
now?
better.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta sit right here at the microphone then.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was sitting a little bit far off. All right, so the next thing that we want to focus on is the online job search techniques. Okay. So, first step, use job search engines. Like we said, go to specifically to the company's website, social media, networking, online freelance platforms, and professional associations. So within the age of the internet, with everything being posted online, I kind of veer away from using like job search engines. I try to go directly to the company's website, especially if that's the first step. Go to a company that you know aligns with your career path or your career goals or a career that you're interested in, and look at their job postings or listings. Also with a lot of online platforms like LinkedIn and Handshake and Indeed, a lot of recruiters are on these platforms and they post jobs all the time. And you can filter through those and go directly to the company's website and see if there's anything of interest that you want to, apply for. And the last one, professional associations. The last over the last few years, I've noticed that a lot of professional associations post jobs, like especially if it's a national organization or a regional organization, on their website they might have like current job postings or whatever that you can sift through that you might not find on the internet or any of the other job platforms, because they're specific to your profession. Social media, as far as social media with a job search, I guess you could just lump all professional social media platforms with that, and using it as a way to filter and say, okay, I'm looking at this company's online or social media page, and they say, oh, we have a job opening, and you can filter those that they have listed and go to their actual website to apply for the job. And the reason why I'm saying that, because a lot of times, people they scam on the internet and pose as an actual company when they're actually not. So to alleviate that, I always recommend go straight to the company's website, or if you see a job posted online, don't apply through that online link. Just, go to the website, search it in the website's search bar and see if it comes up and apply. Always apply for jobs directly on the company or school's website to alleviate any things such as fraud, because people are out here scamming and scheming. Anything you want to add, Missy?
Yes, when you're checking out the companies that you're looking at, make sure that how you make sure that it's reputable is to make sure that the link that they're sending you aligns with what you're looking for, with what you're looking at. Usually if they're asking for personal information, like you're filling out an application, you will actually see a lock at the top in your address box. It's like a padlock that you should see, that helps keep your information from getting out there to somewhere else that it doesn't need to be. It's very, very important that you make sure that you're on a legal, viable website, because you don't want to be putting in your date of birth, your address, your social security number, and all the humping jobs that you've had to someone that can track you down and steal your information. And believe you me, it can be a very, very bad nightmare.
Please don't
And
put your
you
social in no applications.
exactly right. Thank you, Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
because
Unless
Yes.
unless it's HR, please don't
HR.
give nobody your social online unless you have the job and HR sends you the I-9 form.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Absolutely. I mean, Ms. Porch, absolutely.
Just call me Donna.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna.
You know who we're talking to. All right,
You're
thank you
welcome.
ladies, for elaborating and sharing that information. You know, just be cognitive and aware and careful about sharing information. Okay. Interview prep. So effective interview preparation involves, like we said, researching the company, gathering your necessary documents, understanding the role to align with your skills, prepare thoughtful questions, and assess your strengths, weaknesses, while dressing professionally to create a positive impression. Lastly, practicing common interview questions and etiquette to enhance your confidence and significantly improving your interview performance. So as far as interview prep, some things that I've done in the past, as like he's mentioned in the slide, is making sure you look up the company, the school, or whatever, and look at that specific department that the job is under and see if you can, I call it not stalking, but doing my research and understanding if I'm applying for a job at a school or a different institution or a company, understanding like who's working there, what department is this job under, who is the head of this department or program or whatever, because 9 times out of 10, these are the people that are going to be in my interview, or people that I will have be in contact with during the interview process, you know, in my job search. So knowing who is in that department directly and potential co-workers that you'll be working with is also a good interview prep strategy to see some of their background and their skills, and how long have they been with the company, or have they moved up within the company, and that sort of thing. And it also eliminates all the nervous energy and anxiety in the interview process, when you could put faces with names and you feel like you not know them, but you feel a little bit more comfortable because you're not going in blind. They have information on you and you have some information on them. All right, so 4 key steps, and this is just a reiteration of all of what we said before. Research the company, understanding the role. This second one, understanding the role, is very important because sometimes, not all, certain job descriptions may or may not be as accurate as the job in the role entails, because, you know, in companies, schools, institutions, HR develops the job description based off of what that department tells them to put in a job description. And sometimes it may or may not align, but it's kind of close. So making sure during the interview process depending on how long it is, you understand the role and you ask those questions to make sure this role is something that you actually want to pursue. Self-assessment, practicing common interview questions, have a friend or family member sit down with you and give you some practice interview questions. Is a lot of platforms and things online where you can get like general common interview questions that someone can quiz you on a couple of days before the interview. Always gather your necessary documents because you don't know if they may need something additional to your application to move forward in the interview process, especially if it's a multi-step interview process. Prepare questions to ask. This is key. Never go anywhere empty-handed. They have all this information on you. It would be of your best interest to have a list of questions to ask them so you can get a better understanding of the role and still decide if you actually want the job or not. Dress professionally and last one, rehearse interview etiquette. And that goes back to practicing those common interview questions. Does anybody have anything to add?
I want to
at
jump
this point?
in. I want to jump in on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
So one of the biggest things, when I have this conversation with my advisees, is I like to share kind of what my steps were when I applied here. For a couple of reasons. One, because it's relatable. I mean, the fact that I'm here, and the one I kind of want to highlight. Of course, we want to dress professionally and all that good stuff, and the etiquette, all those things. And I know Ms. Sledge said something about having a family member or a friend ask you some questions. But one of the things I did, and I think that helped me tremendously, was that I went through YouTube and went through like several top 10 interview questions, the answers that you can use and the way to approach the responses type of thing. And that was very helpful for me. On top of researching the institution, researching the program, understanding what everything was about, that's very key. That part was very, very instrumental in, and not trying to necessarily memorize the responses, but understand that, the way you want to approach the responses, right? And because you're going to get 2 or 3, or maybe even 4 of those questions that you prepare for. And I might have prepared for about 15, and I think I got like 4, right? 4 of the questions you can pretty much count on. Tell me about yourself, okay? Your strengths and your weaknesses. That's 3. And the 4, do you have any questions for us? You're gonna get those questions. That's almost a given, right? So, then they maybe have something a little more, program specific or job specific. But those questions right there, you go ahead and some of the other ones, but even those, when you answer the question about, your weaknesses, and like Mrs. Alikoff alluded to earlier, we don't pay attention. I'm speaking from, as for myself, I didn't pay attention to, my weaknesses as much as I did my strengths. We always love to think about our strengths, but we don't really want to think about our weaknesses. But the response can be structured in a way to where, your strength. I think my response to that question was something like, my weakness was that, sometimes I can get to be a little too, I care about my students. So, I have to, be cognizant of kind of how, you want to help them, but and so it's kind of lending itself to being, caring about your students, but not overreacting to certain things. It may be with an instructor or what have you. So that was kind of my response. So it's like, okay, he has to monitor his involvement, but also, you know, he really cares about the students. So it's almost a weakness without being a weakness type of thing, right? So strategy is good with these interviews and, you know, jobs, and you have to understand that many of you know, these circumstances, you know, it has to be a strategy behind it. I've had students come to me and say, you know, I interviewed, but I didn't get the job, and then we have a conversation, and I can almost tell them why they didn't get the job, right? So yeah, these practices are very good. I just want to highlight that, and I think I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you, Ms. Sledge.
So I'm just going to add to that. When you're in an interview session, a lot of times you're nervous and you feel pressured to give an answer right away. Rule of thumb is to make sure that you understand exactly what they're asking you, because you don't want them to ask you about oranges and you tell them about apples, peaches, and pineapples. So sometimes you might have to say, and it's okay in an interview process, can you please repeat that question? Or you might want to take a breath before you answer the question. It's okay.
All right.
Yes, I agree with Ms. Z. And one time in the interview, I had to stop and ask them, what do you mean? Before
Absolutely.
I answered the question. And they elaborated more, and then I answered. Because like she said, they could have asked you about a certain fruit and you replied immediately. And it's okay to walk into an interview nervous, and it's okay to sometimes not get the job. You have so many other opportunities, you know, to perfect your skills and try again.
And let me say this to what Ms. Ports just said too. Is to two of the things she just said. One was, you know, she had to ask about what did they mean. That's a good thing. You know, I've served on several interview committees, and that's always a good thing when the candidate is asking for clarity. You know, it's okay to ask for clarity. That's not a bad mark on your review, right? I mean, you want to understand what someone is asking you or saying to you. That's great. So that's a positive. Also, what's something else you just said, Miss Porch?
I said it's okay if
Yes,
it's okay to be nervous, and sometimes we might not get the
Yeah.
job that we want, but it's okay because you know it's going to be so many more opportunities. So don't beat yourself up.
that's it right there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you can't beat yourself up about not getting a job, because you got to understand, they may be looking for something specific that you don't even know about. And it's not that you are not qualified. It's not that you wouldn't do well, or not that you might even be the best candidate. But it's a lot of other, like, kind of back office sometimes specifications that are being looked for. And so, you know, you can't take it personal. You can't give up or none of that kind of stuff. You know, I look at things like that, like it just wasn't for me at that time, and move on, because that's the other side of it that you may or may not see or understand until later in your professional career. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to everybody for sharing their thoughts, opinions, and further elaborating on the topic. I think we have thoroughly covered everything as far as interview prep and the other points and objectives that we covered during the presentation. So anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, any additional questions about topics that weren't covered on the presentation? And so you can drop them in the chat, or come off of mute at this time.
I wanted to just add a little bit, because we talked about etiquette a little bit, but in the first workshop, we talked a little bit about etiquette. One thing that you want to remember is you want to remember your body language, you want to remember your tone of your voice, you want to remember where you how your body will transform into a language that you might not be aware of. So make sure that your body is open, as in don't sit with your arms folded cross, because that's like, look, I ain't even listening to you. And that might not be what you want what's happening. It might just be your way of handling the situation, but you need to make sure that you're open and that you're paying attention to your body language, because you want your body language to say, hey, I'm all ears. You have my attention. I'm going to win this interview and I'm going to get this job. That's it.
All right, if no one has any additional comments, feedback, or questions,
Well,
Always feel free to stop in here. If you're about, like, Mr. Hardy had said earlier, that some of his, mentees come to him, always feel free. Our doors are always open. If you're about to have an interview, if you want to do some mock interviews with us, if you need help, finding something to wear, even having your resume or cover letter printed out, or even help with when Ms. Sledge had said going actually to the website of that company and putting the application in there. If you need any type of help within this process of what we talked about, our doors are always open. Please stop by anytime so we can help you on the next step towards your job search and actually getting the job.
Absolutely.
I just want to say to the team, you guys did excellent. I think, this was, very all valid and legitimate points were covered. So, and it's very thorough. I think it was very, timely and appropriate. So I just want to say thank you to the team. You guys did an awesome job. Like, this was very, very, very appropriate and very, I think, needed. And Ms. Sledge, we'll get this up on YouTube. I think it is definitely something to be said about the benefits of this presentation. So great job.
I don't have anything further to say, so
Okay. All right. So
close it out.
all hearts and minds are clear. You guys have a great afternoon. Make sure you sign in. Ms. Sledge has put it in the chat, and we'll see you on the next workshop. Thank you all. Have a great evening. All right. Great job, guys.